So tonight, I want to talk about the power of hard work, and I really want to ask all you guys, are you in a place where you feel like you're happy with your life? What are the things that you really want to do? What are the things that really matter? And as we transition into 2022, right, we're leaving 2021 behind, and of course, the year is kind of arbitrary, but I think it's a good time, right, always when we're in this transition, approaching the new year, to ask yourself, what are the things moving forward that you really want to pursue? And one of the challenges, the tasks, the ideas that I urge all you guys to do is to write down the several things that really matter and the things that you really want to push into over the next year. Now, from there, what I want to talk about is this idea of hard work. And I used to be extremely against hard work. I would say, look at these chumps that are working 60, 70 hours, 80 hours per week, right? They haven't figured it out. They're just trading their time for money, and they're morons, right? They're wasting their life. Well, in many ways, I still believe that, but I can tell you that recently I've started working a new job. It's going to be temporary. That's why I've been a little bit MIA, but I can guarantee you I've got all your guys back still. I'm here. We're going to push it hard in the coming year, and we're going to rise up to the top. But with that being said, what I've come to the realization recently, and some of the advice that I want to spit out to you guys tonight, is that working a lot is an incredibly mature, masculine characteristic, and it will translate over to all the other areas of your life. And so never be against hard work, never be against working a lot, and realize that even if you are working a crappy job, it's just going to be a small segment. It's not going to be the end result. You're going to have a long journey of your life, and this is just a kind of small portion of a chapter of your life. So don't be against hard work, even if it's a crappy job. And no matter what, I truly believe that that is incredible advice for any guy of any age, but especially if you're in your 20s and 30s. But to be perfectly honest, even if you're 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, as a guy, we're built to be grinding all the time. So learn to cultivate that. I'm going to go sit down here. By the way, it's really late or early. It's like 6 in the morning. I've been up all night, but I'm going to put this down and we're going to get into the rest of the video. I'll see you in just a second. So I've gotten a lot of messages recently as we're approaching the end of the year. And a lot of the messages will go like, I've got to end this addiction. I can't go into 2022 with a porn addiction. I can't continue to go on with a femdom addiction. I can't continue to go on my life like this. And it got me thinking that this is a really good time of year to kind of do the end of the year evaluation of your life. What did you do well over the last year? What were your biggest wins? Maybe you didn't have any. That's okay. And then what were your losses? What are the things that you want to change, that you want to improve, that you want to work on? And then moving into 2022, the new year, kicking it off on the right foot. We're going to get off to the races, right? Boom. And in fact, we're not even going to wait till January 1st. Let's start right now, today, tonight. But really doing that kind of audit, that evaluation of what did you do well, what do you want to improve on? But going back to a lot of these messages, where they're from guys that are frustrated, and maybe, you can relate to this if you're, watching this and you say, I want to change, I want to improve. And I can tell you that this is all stuff that I've struggled with, that I have firsthand experience of feeling like I'm not living up to my potential, feeling like I'm stuck just derping out, playing video games, watching crap on Netflix, watching, endless amounts of porn, being addicted to more hardcore stuff like femdom, things where it's just destruction, debilitation, addiction, things where you don't feel like it's you, but you feel like it's somehow this energy has taken over and consumed your life. And I can tell you that, again, I'm here, I've got all your guys' backs, and I've got full faith that we're gonna rise to the top and that every single one of you can make improvements, improve your life, and get over any sort of addictions that you may have. And not only that, but really get into thriving, right? Get into winning, get into excelling, and just ultimately being a badass, mature, masculine, and just winning. That's the goal. With that being said, I really want to kind of come back to this idea of hard work. And so as a guy, I think we're built, as I said, to work hard, right? We want to grind, we want to push. And so much of our society now is telling us that, no, you just want to play video games. No, you just want to jerk off. No, you just want to smoke weed, right? And these are all things that are just completely kind of like, in many ways, neutering you as a man, right? They're like, it's just pleasure seeking, it's crap, it's effeminate, it's not really anything that's going to serve you in the long run. And go back and watch some of my old videos. You'll hear me talk about this idea of a +1 on the front end, right? So the idea of the +1 on the front end with video games or with porn is that, yeah, okay, it feels really good temporarily, but on the back end, you're getting a -10. So you're quickly getting that feel good, the +1 on the front, but you're getting the -10 draining you on the back end. And so it's hard because, as I've said too, in some of my other videos, I had a lot of free time over the last year. And on the one hand, I think it was really good because it enabled me to pursue a lot of, trying to choke on my mint here. It allowed me to pursue a lot of creative endeavors, a lot of things that I was interested in, read a lot of books. And on the one hand, that was great. Now, on the other hand, it made it so it was really hard not to find myself sneaking onto Pornhub or sneaking onto social media and just derping out and scrolling. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can always relate where you have some downtime or you have a day off, or maybe you're not really working a lot right now and you're at home, and it's like you can be the most strong-willed, badass dude. Yet when you have a lot of free time and you get a little bit horny, it's going to be really hard not to go into Pornhub. It's going to be really hard not to go on Instagram. And so I've been thinking a lot about this idea of hard work, discipline, focus, and how that relates to a lot of the kind of addictions and pleasure seeking that we're trying to work on this channel, and in Valhalla Syndicate and within the groups here. Because while I think that doing a lot of the inner work and releases is absolutely crucial, and I'll say that again, without doing the inner work, and if you're not exactly sure what the inner work is, it sounds a little bit strange, but essentially it's trauma release, and trying to get rid of the metaphorical lead weight that's goddamn strapped around your feet. So if you're trying to pursue these things, right? You want to get a better job. You want to get a girlfriend. You want to end a drug addiction, a porn addiction. You're addicted to femdom. You want to stop this destructive behavior, right? Maybe you just want to be more charismatic and have a better social life. Whatever it is, you can be incredibly strong-willed as a guy, but if you haven't done the inner work, the release work, and you haven't gotten rid of that lead weight that's strapped around your feet, around your ankles, it's going to be incredibly hard to be successful, because what I found is that you'll either end up burning out or you'll end up resorting back into past addictions, whatever it is. We all have we kind of all gravitate towards different things. But so go back and rewatch some of those past videos that I put out on doing inner work, release work, trauma work. All that's incredibly important. Okay. From there, though, really figuring out what it is that you really want to go after, what it is that you're really interested in, and then realizing that you want to work every single day, and you want to ultimately condition yourself so that you can go day after day after day after day, working 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, whatever it is, and realize that a lot of times people say, well, I don't have time to do anything else, and I don't have the energy. And it's like, well, sometimes, especially as I said, talking to most of you guys in here are in, your 20s and your 30s, your 40s. So in that age range, right? Sometimes you're going to have to suck it up and get a little bit less sleep. Sometimes you're going to have to push it a little bit harder. And also, what I would really say is that when you're able to start cutting down on the crap, right? The pleasure seeking, the porn, the drugs, the social media, the video games, the Netflix, you start cutting down on that. Even if you are working a crappy job at 60 hours per week, let's just say, as an example, even if you are working 60 hours a week, by cutting down on a lot of that other crap, it's going to free up so much extra time for you to then allocate those extra few hours per week into the things that you really then want to go after. And so that's something that I really think is incredibly powerful. And when I hear people say that they just don't have enough time, I can oftentimes fall into that category. And I've gotten a lot of messages too over the past month saying, where have you been? Is everything good? What's going on? And again, let me just say, I got all your guys' backs. Moving into this new year, I'm more motivated than ever, and I have full faith that all of us are going to rise up and continue to push forward. And we're going to win. It's going to be great. And I'm not going to say that it's not hard work, but when I'm talking about this hard work, I want you to start reconditioning yourself so that you feed off of the hard work. That's one of the big problems, I think, especially in a lot of, American society, is this, kind of idea that hard work is a bad thing, or, you need to just be at home and go off the pleasure seeking. And it's like, I want to be such a badass where all you guys are reconditioning it so that you gain that energy. You'll hear me talk about this in some of my other videos, to where I really do believe that you can recondition yourself so that you're gaining energy off of working. And so now, when I'm at home, if I do have a day off, which is pretty rare, but when I do, I feel like I'm being drained of my energy. I'm like, I should be working. And this can be a little bit of a dangerous trap, because occasionally you do just need to take a day off to where you just kind of sit on the couch and you don't do anything. But that should be a rarity, right? One day a month or something like that, right? An occasional day, maybe you're allowed to derp, and I might do it. But even when I do that, I still don't feel good. I'm like, this is strange. I feel like I'm losing energy. And so I really have conditioned it to the point to where I feel like I'm gaining momentum, gaining energy the more that I work. And it's pretty crazy in the fact that I probably average about 5 hours of sleep per night. And a few years ago, I would have been a complete zombie. 5 hours of sleep, I wouldn't be able to talk. I wouldn't be able to read. I really wouldn't be able to do much of anything. I'd have a headache. And now it's like I feel this like very kind of focused buzz of energy where, maybe it feels a little bit chaotic at times, but it's very, very powerful energy. And that's what I would like to get all of you guys to kind of push forward to and learn how to do. And so realizing that working hard, again, is an incredibly masculine characteristic, and it's something that will help you deal with a lot of these other addictions. I think that oftentimes, and I've definitely had a lot of experience and problems with this in the past, if I have too much free time, as I've said, it doesn't matter how much of a strong-willed badass you are. If you're sitting at home for 12 hours per day, every day, it's going to be really hard not to sneak onto Pornhub. It's going to be really hard not to play video games. It's going to be really hard not to be scrolling on social media or on Netflix or any of these platforms that you kind of have addictions with. I can tell you from my experience, I'll say, well, okay, I have a bunch of free time here. Let me just see what's going on Instagram for a little bit. And then that'll turn into 3 hours of scrolling. Okay. I have some free time. Let me just see what's the new video on Pornhub. It's just going to be 5 minutes. And then that'll turn into another 5 hours. And it's like once you kind of dip your toe in the water, it's like the serpent comes out and sucks you in, and it will not let you go. And it's like once you get out of this, again, you want to just work your face off and not look back. I want you guys to get out of this. Again, you got to do the trauma release work. I really do believe in that. And again, a few years ago, I would have said, well, that a lot of this stuff, it doesn't really make any sense. It's kind of woo-woo, like trauma release, inner work, energy work. I don't know, but I can tell you, I've done it, and it's hard. I had many days where I would sit and I would cry for a lot of the day. I had many days where I would start screaming and yelling in a good way, like just releasing a lot of that kind of visceral, trapped up emotion. And until you've done some of that work and gotten rid of it, it's going to be really hard to grind. So again, go back and watch. I have about 50 videos, I think, now on YouTube, and a lot of them are kind of centered around trauma release, energy work. And so go back and rewatch those videos, or if you haven't watched them, go watch them and start doing that, and start prepping yourself. Throw out another challenge, because I like throwing challenges at you guys, over the next month as we're leading up into the new year. Go back and start doing some of this inner work, the release work, so that you're ready to rip it. The second we hit January 1st, we're taking off and we're grinding. I've got a lot of new kind of courses, ideas, videos that I'm working on. And like always, drop me a message, hop into the Hala Syndicate, and send me any sort of ideas or questions that you guys have. I'm always here. I am working a lot. It's also a temporary job to where I'm going to have a lot more free time coming up here relatively soon. And so I just want to wrap by saying that I appreciate all you guys that are here. I've got all your guys' backs. We're going to do great things this month and in the coming year. I have full faith that all you guys are going to rise up. And always remember that anyone that tries to tell you that hard work is bad, don't listen to them. Realize that hard work is an extremely masculine characteristic, and it's something that will translate and make you successful down the road in any of your other endeavors, in any other areas of your life. And always just ask yourself, what are the things that really matter? What are the things that you really want to focus on? And I can tell you that you couple the hard work with the inner work and the release work, right? The hard work, you can call it like the outer work. The release work is the inner work. When you fuse the two and mesh the two together, you get this synergy to where you will just start taking off. And you do that day in and day out, and things will start unfolding in your life. And it doesn't mean that it's not hard. It doesn't mean that you're gonna not fall off sometimes. I always say that, right? Remember that that's just part of the process, but you just keep on getting back up. I keep on getting back up, right? You keep on getting back up. We're gonna do it day in and day out. And so with that, I think I'm gonna wrap the video. Always remember, keep on pushing. Don't be afraid of hard work. And we're gonna do great things in the upcoming year. That's gonna be it for tonight. Super late. I'm gonna head back and do some more stuff. And I appreciate all you guys for being here. I love all you guys.